think we should have allowed each panelist to do an opening before we got to the questions because we kind of glazed over it. I'm still going to put the question out there. I know, each panelist probably gave us at least a line for the question, but I do want us to get our minds around that question. And of course, Mayor, I have to give you the latitude of what the other panelists had, but please, because we would get to all of those other issues that we just talked about and all of the other questions. But please go ahead.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here. I want to thank the three alderpersons for hosting this. And I want to thank you for caring enough about the children of the city to be here tonight. And I want to thank the other panelists who are here. I want to begin by saying I'm a happy MPS parent. My fourth child this year just started the 27th year of a Barrett kid being in an MPS school. We've been to the German immersion school. All my kids have been to the German immersion school. We've loved it. From there, they've gone to the same Catholic grade school that I attended 40 years ago, which is 3 blocks from my home. So I'm a happy guy when it comes to the Milwaukee Public Schools. And the easiest thing in the world, and trust me, the easiest thing in the world for me to have done was to walk away from this issue. Because my kids are getting a good education. And the young people, and I'm happy they're here from Riverside High School tonight, are getting a good education. And the kids who go to King, and Elm, and Durford, and Reagan are getting a good education. And if you're a sophisticated parent, you're going to know how to get your kid into a school where they're going to get a good education. And I would bet most people here would want their kids to go to schools like those. The reality of the Milwaukee Public Schools is not all schools are like that. And that is the tragedy that we are facing in this community. Larry Miller talked about 25 job seekers for each job in 9 zip codes. He is dead right. That is the issue that we face in this community. We do not have enough jobs in this community for people who do not have skills. That's just a reality. And I've said it for years. 50 years ago, what you needed to succeed in this city was a strong back and a good alarm clock. Because we had these great jobs at breweries, at factories, at canneries, and you could get up and get those jobs. The reality is that those jobs are gone. They've gone to the south, to Mexico, to China, and they're not coming back. So we have a new challenge before us now. And that challenge is we wring our hands and say we don't have enough jobs for people without skills. Or we as a community challenge ourselves and say we are going to improve the education in this city for every child. Not just for the kids whose parents know which schools to go to. And Representative Grigsby is right. The poverty issues, the pregnancy issues, the dysfunctional issues of families are huge in this city. But my concern is we are allowing those to become excuses rather than explanations. And as soon as those become excuses and not explanations, then we spend our time saying, well, the figures in Boston have changed a little bit. The figures in New York have changed a little bit. And they have. They've gone up and they've gone down. But no one has disputed that, tragically, this state has the largest racial achievement gap in the nation. And until we acknowledge that and say we're going to do something about it, then all these problems we're talking about are only going to get worse. Now, I want to make it clear. This is not about Tom Barrett. This is about who is the most accountable in this city for education. And the fact of the matter is, if you look at who votes in elections, the number of people who vote in a primary for school board is 3 to 4%. For mayor, it's 8 times higher than that, 9 times higher than that, 10 times higher than that. If you want accountability, then you hire someone and hold them accountable. Mike Morgan talked about the fact that we've had 7 different board presidents of the Milwaukee Public Schools in the last 10 years. I like Michael Bonds. I think Michael Bonds is a breath of fresh air to the school board. But I challenge more than 15 people in this audience to, within 30 seconds, name the 7 presidents who have been presidents of the school board in the last 10 years. Because all it's been is a revolving door, revolving door, revolving door. That is not a functional way to run a school system. So let me get to the question. I will actually answer the question, if you don't mind, Mr. Hamilton. Too many MPS students don't graduate, are not proficient in reading and math. What do we have in the city? And again, all of us would agree on this. We have kids that move around. The mobility is huge in the city. My wife's an MPS teacher, and I remember her coming home many years ago, and she had a little girl who came up to her, 3rd grader, and my wife, it was Miss Mansfield at the time, and she said, Miss Mansfield, we moved during the day. The news was not that they moved. The news was that they moved during the day. That's what we're dealing with in this city. So you would think we would have a standardized curriculum throughout the schools. Well, we don't. You move from school to school to school. It's not a standardized curriculum. So the very kids, the poorest kids in this city, are going from school to school to school and start all over again. Are we helping those children? Are those children being helped? They're not, but my kids at the German Immersion School are doing just fine. So thank you very much. Let's talk about the number of initiatives, and Michael Morgan talked about this as well. Hundreds, thousands of initiatives. I call it People Magazine government. If there's something in People Magazine that says do this in education, poof, we've got a resolution. Let's do this, let's do this. Is there follow-up? No, there's no follow-up. Oh, we did that program last year. That's what we need. We need a focus. We need a focus on education. And the value of this reform is that the person who is mayor will get a superintendent and say, I'm going to hold you accountable. But he's also going to say, or she's also going to say, I'm going to have your back. And there are tough decisions that have to be made, and I don't think a lot of those decisions have been made. And that's what we have to do in this community. We have a lack of a coherent human resources strategy, keeping good teachers. It's a huge problem in the Milwaukee Public Schools. We get young teachers, they leave after a couple of years. What do I want to do? I want to get more resources to pay teachers to keep them in this city. I want teachers to be paid more. I'm married to a teacher, for God's sakes. Of course I want her to be paid more. We have to do a better job there. And if we need to have longer school days, then we should do that. Because our children need that. So those are the reforms that I think we need in direct response to your question that will help improve the performance of kids in the Milwaukee Public Schools.